Ladies and gentlemen, the topic for our presentation today is all about the rate of cybercrime incidents amidst COVID-19 pandemic, basis for intervention strategies. To begin with, I'd like to introduce myself. I am Therese Baldos, together with my co-presenters, Athina, Putrie, Hennizen, A. Alipio, and Nicole Ann B. Montenegro. This presentation focuses on the issue of how COVID-19 pandemic affects the rate of the recorded cybercrime incidents. In this matter, the result of this research topic can be applicable to the included beneficiaries of this study to improve their awareness about cybercrime.
The purpose of this study is to develop a concrete prevention strategies and improve the crime prevention measures to combat the widespread of this crime during the pandemic that is perhaps also applicable in a post-pandemic future. Moreover, this study will determine the rate of cybercrime incidents during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to Mooncaster 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic became the dominant theme of criminals. Cybercriminals are exploiting the critical dependence of organizations and individuals on virtual environments during the pandemic. The computer systems and virtual environments provide essential communication services such as local and international news updates, telework, online education, social connectivity, and entertainment. The convergence of digital technology, computing, and communication devices has dramatically changed the way people socialize and operate a business during the pandemic.
So now, let us move on to the objectives of the study. First is to find out the rate of cybercrime incidents amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Second is to provide insights and prevention strategies for the users and organization for a safer digital world. Third is to determine what are the cybercrime incidents that happened amidst COVID-19 pandemic. And lastly, to suppress those cybercriminals who take advantage of the situation and make more money or create disruption.
The scope of the study. The focus of the study is to determine what are the cybercrime incidents and the well-known crimes that commonly occur in social media during the COVID-19 pandemic. This study was carried out at the Police Regional Office 11 of Camp Katitipan, Buhangin, Davao City, who has a complete recorded data of the reported cybercrime cases from the different police stations of Davao City only. To follow through this study, a letter of request will be given by the researchers.
So let's proceed the statement of the problem. So the first question is, what are the cybercrime incidents during COVID-19 pandemic in terms of? So 1.1 is internet scam and phishing. 1.2 is disruptive malware. 1.3 is data theft, and 1.4 is a malicious domain. So the second question is there a significance between the rate of cybercrime incidents and the COVID-19 pandemics? So the third question is based on the findings, what are the prevention programs can be proposed? So let's proceed the hypothesis of the study. So this study is there is a significant relationship between the rate of the cybercrime incident and the COVID-19 pandemic.
A literature review is a content of an insightful paper which includes the knowledge with substantive discoveries as well as hypothetical and methodological contributions for a particular title. Moreover, our RRL are taken from different kinds of literature which are related to the study in terms of cybercrime incidents and COVID-19 pandemic. The literature chosen is based on their relevance to the study. Having to look at, let's now think about the research gap. We, the researchers, have learned through literature review that there is no study that determines the rate of cybercrime incidents amidst of COVID-19 pandemic, and that there are no studies have shown prevention strategies to mitigate this problem. Now, based from our initial review of related literature, it is found that no study has been conducted on the said topic.
The researchers conducted two frameworks. One is conceptual and one is theoretical. Our independent variable is cybercrime incidents, and dependent variable is prevention strategies. Based on the table given, which is the input-output model, wherein the input is consisting of common cybercrime incidents during COVID-19 pandemic such as internet scams and phishing, disruptive malware, data theft, and malicious domains. On the other side, the process utilized is through the collection of secondary data of the reported cybercrime cases during the COVID-19 pandemic and the formulation of possible prevention programs against cybercrimes. The output is the prevention strategies against cybercrimes that transpired during the COVID-19 pandemic, which include cybercrime prevention programs for social media users, conduct educational workshop on appropriate care on the internet, and conducting cybercrime awareness through social media platforms. In this study, the researchers utilized the routine activity theory developed by Cohen and Felson in 1979. This theory is a situational theory where crime is most likely to occur when a motivated offender and a suitable target meet a situation where a capable guardian is lacking. Therefore, the theory postulates that high increases in cybercrime rates are related to the changes in the routine activities of daily living. The COVID-19 can affect the victimization rates as people change their habits and spend more time at home and less time in public. Moreover, cybercrimes will be motivated by the recent sudden changes to remote work and by relying on online platforms, as remote employees are no longer working under the same strict security provided at the workplace.
Let's proceed the significance of the study. So, first is the Philippine National Police Officer. So, this study helped the police officer to develop and to concrete the prevention strategies of a cybercrime incident. So, second is the criminology student. So, this study helped the criminology student to develop their knowledge on a cybercrime in a social media. So, the third is a professor. So, these studies contribute to the professor as they will teach on other students on how to avoid social media conflicts. So, the lastly is the future researcher. So, this studies help the future researcher to know the analysis of the cybercrime incidents amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. So, this researcher gained the insight and would support the future studies on a social platform. So, related issue during the pandemic. So, and they can also use these studies as a secondary of a data with their future related research.
So now let us move on to chapter 2. This chapter presents the research design, research subjects, research instruments, data gathering procedure, and statistical treatment of data.
The researchers used the quantitative descriptive method in analyzing the hard data gathered from reliable sources. We use this design to incorporate the characteristics of the data and research methodology and to identify the cause and effect relationship of cybercrime incidents amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Moreover, the data collection of quantitative descriptive studies focuses on discovering the nature of the specific events under study. Through descriptive method, we are able to provide a holistic understanding of the research problem.
So, let's proceed the research subject. So, the researcher used a simple random sampling method to gather a data through handling a letter of a request to the personnel of a Police Regional Office 11 using the random sampling technique. So, furthermore, the subject of this study were also personnel of Regional Police Office 11 who keep records on a cybercrime incident and COVID-19 pandemic.
The instruments that will be used in the data gathering are the secondary data collected in the recorded cybercrime incidents amidst COVID-19 pandemic from the Police Regional Office 11. The recorded data will be submitted to the advisor for checking and validation. The items to be found in the instruments will be chosen to gather the needed data in the study, and the data set will undergo evaluation to ensure the appropriateness of the study. The statistical tools used by the researchers for the data analysis and data interpretation are the frequency count, person's arc relation, and the percentage. In the frequency count, this would be used to determine the number of cybercrime incidents reported under Police Regional Office 11. In the person's arc relation, this will be used to determine the significant relationship between the rate of cybercrime incidents and the COVID-19 pandemic. Also, this will enable us to decide whether the null hypothesis is accepted or not. In the percentage, this was used to determine the percentage of cybercrime incidents reported during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the data gathering procedure, the researchers handed a letter requesting the Police Regional Office 11 to furnish them a data of recorded cybercrime incidents during COVID-19 pandemic. Upon securing the approval, the researchers will proceed in collecting data to the personnel of the said office. Then, the gathered data will undergo statistical analysis with the assistance of the statistician. And lastly, the result of the analysis will then be used as a basis to generate the summary, conclusion, and recommendation.
We have encountered unanticipated challenges that emerged during the study, such as the lack of prior research studies on the topic, that will help us to lay a foundation for understanding the research problem that we are investigating, since there are no studies has been conducted on the topic. Another is the longitudinal effects, which is the time available for us to investigate a research problem and to measure change or stability over time is pretty much constrained by the due date of our research.
Based on our findings, the researchers formulated prevention programs to combat the widespread of this crime in our present and future generations effectively. It includes cybercrime prevention programs for social media users, conducting an educational workshop on appropriate care on the internet, and cybercrime awareness through social media platform. During these workshops, they were provided with an intensive program to increase their knowledge in topics of different kinds of cybercrimes, as well as factors that stimulate the risk on the internet and the e-rights of the users.
Based on our finding, the future research should also investigate if the sum of the social changes experienced during the outbreak remain after the lockdown measures are lifted. So those of the meaning of the rise in a cybercrime may not be a temporary and established comparison between the trends in online and offline offenses.
This research will assist the different bodies that have been confronted with the problem while dealing with the social media platform. Moreover, it can contribute to a safer digital world as we cope with many other pressing challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. The researchers will be using the social media platform to raise awareness about cybercrime and propose those prevention programs to the University of Mindanao and even in the community.